News Talk 790 KFYO, good morning. It is 9 minutes after the hour. Jeff Griffith after City Council meeting and the executive session yesterday. Now, that was kind of a closed-door deal. People are tight-lipped because you know why? Loose lips sink ships, and they don't want anybody to know. What do you say about that?
Good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Laura.
All right.
No, we can talk about that. The reason that we did not have or complete a stormwater work session was due to the pending litigation that has begun.
Oh, yeah. That's the guy, what is it? Is it
Beck.
Beck Steel Company, yeah.
Yes. And so we went into executive session, and for, I'd say probably a good hour, and obviously with the city attorneys, and that decision was made to not continue because of the pending litigation. So that it's kind of handcuffed us, to say the least. We've got some great options in the new rate modeling and some other options that we were about to put out there and see where we could get with it. Now,
I know you probably can't comment on it, but just to let everybody know what that petition says, he claims that the city is paying, or his lawsuit claims that the city is paying $9.4 million to debt service, $5.3 million to transfer to the debt service fund, and transferring almost $293,000 to the general fund. It goes on to say that none of that roughly $15 million in revenue from drainage charges is being used to pay for the debt service, reserve requirements, equipment facilities, or obligations for stormwater like the government code requires. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the lawsuit?
Yes, and to your point, it's really not the suit does not get into rates as much as what we're doing with the dollars that are received into the city from that funding and how we apply it to our debt. We've spent over $114 million in the past 12 years for stormwater in the city. In the past 60 days, we've seen it work. I mean, we've been blessed, and no offense to Amarillo, they've had neighborhoods that flooded because they haven't not done what we've done. And again, no offense to them. I'm just saying we've done a great job, but we got on the fast track in the past decade about stormwater with these projects, and there's still some more to be done. Mm-hmm. The real deal is that, and listen, I appreciate people's passion for not wanting to pay more. The way that we have to pay debt is extremely mandated with the bonding agencies. So it's not like you can take money and start moving it around very easily. And so the data, not to get into it too deep here, but the data that I think, and I'm not a lawyer, but I do not think that the way that this suit has been brought forth, I do believe it's totally frivolous, and I think it's handcuffed us. I hope we can get past this rapidly. And we've got some good things on the table, I believe, to maybe get us into a better situation with stormwater.
All right. I think we got a phone call, 770-5790. Have a question for you. Jeff, HR, you're on. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Jeff, thank you for what you do on the council, and I want to just ask a question. I mean, this guy at Becksteel, I think the mayor, I think that was pretty sad what the mayor did to put him on blitz like that. I mean, this man is trying to operate a business. He's got a pretty large business, and I can only imagine what that deal is like. Same thing with the guy that's operating that private school over here on the east side. He's been fighting the city for a long time on that too. My question to you is there anybody on this council that does like ordinary Lubbock citizens to say, you know what, somewhere we got to find out a place where we can cut to try to meet the city debt? I mean, that's the way I do it. Like right now, I got a vehicle that's down. I've got to cut somewhere else to make that happen, to pay for that. That's the way business is done. Why is it that the city is always looking a way to increase what people pay instead of cutting in other places? And I'll hang up and listen.
That's a great question. I appreciate your point about the vehicle. Living within our means is what government's supposed to do. And there are times when we're charged at
Wait a minute, let me back you up here. We're all really supposed to do that.
Thank you, Tom.
Supposed to.
In theory.
But we're going to get into this a little deeper, I hope. But by the way, the Rise Academy issue was a bad paperwork mistake and bad communication mistake, and they have been taken off because of their status now that they're not billed stormwater. So that has been solved. It's a shame that it was delayed the way it was, but that issue's been solved. I believe Mr. Beck's charge is, as I was telling Laura, Mr. Beck's charge is not based upon how much he's paying. It's based upon the dollars that we receive at the city and how we're applying them to our debt, and that some are not applied to debt or that stormwater debt. And again, I'm not a lawyer, but back to your point about living within our means, and that's something that I believe that I'm charged to do for the citizens of this city is to live within our means, and sometimes you have to do without. But that debt's already been done at stormwater, so we do have that debt to pay, which is $24 million this year and next year.
This is an interesting thing, though. You are judged by the circumstances that you're dealing with right now, but these circumstances have been compounded by years and years and years of decisions that were made by people that are no longer involved with city council. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them are, 10 years past, and gone. But that's how you're judged, and you have to deal with that.
Yes.
And it's just like, come on, Jeff, get your head out. Can't you deal with this? I mean, you're the councilman. That's what people are thinking.
Well,
they shoot from the hip, and with all due respect to you, don't get me wrong. Nobody agrees with what everybody is going to do, in every situation. That's just not happening. But the thing is, for you to do the job that you're doing and you don't get paid for it, what are you, stupid?
Well, you called it, man. You called it. We can have anybody that is elected to our city council.
Yeah,
we asked for this, so we knew what we were getting into.
Oh yeah,
and knew that we had over $1 billion worth of debt. A lot of it's about trying to solve problems and trying to be a good problem solver.
Yeah,
futuristically.
All right, Jeff Griffith is here after city council meeting. All right, let's just throw it out there. The Fab Four, they aren't the Beatles. But it's Latrell Joy, Victor Hernandez, Lloyd Price, Jim Geralt, kind of doing a preliminary vote on an almost, if not a 4% tax increase. What in the heck?
That is a preliminary. That's basically the cap. That once that was voted in yesterday evening, I should say, that puts us at 56.573 cents per hundred.
Which translates to $56.70 per year on a $100,000 house.
Thank you. Great math skills. Now, the big deal is that is a preliminary. I don't want everybody to get nervous. I don't think that's where we'll end up. I hope not. Not for that at all. But that is the cap that we utilize in this budget season going forward. We'll have two public hearings, and a lot more work will be done as to where we go with this. I believe personally that we can balance at the current budget as to the caller earlier about his vehicle, but I believe we can get back to a zero tax increase. That's my hope.
And the reason for this proposal?
Yeah.
It allows other council people to, Laura, if we need to add staff or they may have possible debt reduction issues, they can utilize these possible extra tax dollars to possibly pay down debt.
Now, if this tax happens as it is proposed, is this something that's does it end up in the general fund?
Yes.
Or, okay. I was just curious. I didn't know.
Yes.
If you guys would have had audio on the broadcast last night, I would have been more in touch.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I should have. If you should have texted me, and I could have.
Well, I actually
Does it
tried.
have anything
I actually
to do
tried
with
to.
Citizens Tower? I mean, is
some
having
some
to pay
of it is
for
and,
the
and
renovations
right
there?
now on the Citizens Complex and PD renovation project. We're still using money out of the current budget for that. We're so blessed that the mold and asbestos abatement came in at about $975,000, under $1 million. We budgeted $3 million for that. So, and it should be done, I'm excited, within 180 days is what the contract reads. So we've got good news on that front as far as the dollars and cents. We also voted approximately $200,000 for outdoor elevator system to do the work. If people will look at the Citizens Complex in the evening, you'll see that it does light up. We already have temporary lighting in there, and we're already working in there. So we've now gotten out of first gear
Nice.
with this project.
All right. That's a good deal that we're coming at. We come in at about 30% of the budgeted price on the abatement. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
Nice. All right. What else we got going on in City Council last night?
It was actually pretty simple and mundane at best. We did, after setting this possible future tax rate, I'd like to spend a minute explain to folks that this process goes on through September. And what we're doing is working on the budget for next year. And this budgetary time is intense in making sure that we're doing the right things for the city and also trying to hold the line on future debt, future projects. So there have been some areas that have been cut. I'd like to bring up an issue just for clarification's sake, and that's the dog park issue. And we've heard a little bit about the dog park, and I'm in favor of a dog park. The dog park is not in this upcoming budget. There was approximately $200,000 in a future capital project for dog park, but it is not listed.
Really?
Yes, and
I thought it was in there.
I know, and there's been some confusion on that. That's the reason, Laura, I wanted to bring it up because it's not in there. I'm not saying that we're not going to end up having a dog park, and hopefully not at $200,000 that was originally in there over a year ago. But that several items had been pulled, and that was one of them. And I'm all for a dog park, but I'm not for $200,000 dog park. We've got speaking of dog issues, we've got a great event on Sunday afternoon at Clapp Park, and it's the 10th annual Splash Fest.
Canine Splash Fest.
Yeah,
From 1 to 5.
Yeah,
if you've
that's
never
right.
been to that, if you've never taken your dog to that, it's actually a fantastic event. It really, really is. I was shocked the first time I went. How it's neat to see. And by the way,
they jump in the swimming pool, right?
they control the swimming pool, and obviously Clapp Park pool is a big pool. Mm-hmm. But y'all, it's neat. It really is, because there's a lot of it tells you how passionate dog owners are, and also how much fun it is to see them dress their dogs for the swimming pool.
Oh, really?
Oh yes. It's not. They just don't bring them out there.
Bikinis,
Yes.
Speedos. What are we talking
Yes,
here?
exactly.
Yikes.
I did not know there was dog
Funny.
swimwear, but there is. I come to find out.
Suddenly I get the vision of a Shar-Pei wearing a thong. Wow.
But it's actually a neat event, and if you've never taken your dog to it, I highly recommend our citizens get over there. I think it's 1 to 5.
Yeah, 1 to 5, and I think it's like under $3 for adults to get in, and
it's pretty neat just to watch. Some of these dogs they can swim a whole lot better than I can.
Okay, I got to ask you, relative to the dog park. I'll ask you when we come back. We got to hit a break.
Okay.
In conversation with Councilman Jeff Griffith after the city council meeting last evening, I had some questions about the dog park and just allocations. Like, we're looking at a potential $200,000 that's proposed. And I was kind of wondering, how that was going to be allocated and divvied up, but we got a call about dog park. 770-5790, you want to ring us up. Eric, you're on. Good morning.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
All right, I drive a truck throughout this area. Amarillo has a dog park. Abilene has a dog park. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't Lubbock have a dog park? Number one. Number two, Lubbock doesn't have any kind of sign or, welcome to Lubbock, Texas. Even Sweetwater has a sign that says "Welcome to Sweetwater."
Isn't Sweetwater sign? Don't they have it on a big old a wind turbine blade or
blade.
something?
Okay, we can put a pair of glasses up and say "Welcome to Lubbock."
But then we'd have to pay Maria Elena some sort of fee. I'll tell you what.
I know. My wife and I were talking about that, which that's kind of sad. But my point is, we put a cotton bale, something to let people know, hey, this is Lubbock. Well, I've lived here since '75. We lose citizens because there's really no pride in this city. I've lived here since '75. We have no downtown. Nothing. Isn't that shouldn't that be something that we think about?
Well, we're kind of working on the downtown thing.
We've been working on the downtown since, 80? I had a bumper sticker that says downtown is unique or something like that in the 80s. And, come on. I've lived here all my life, dude. Really.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've been operating a business for the last several years on Texas Avenue, and I can tell you, if you go back down, people like Bart Rager and Rick Dykes and all that, man, they're just like, there are a lot of businesses down there. If you go down there, the infrastructure, the anchor people are going in right now.
There's still a lot of empty buildings downtown, though, too.
That building, the Crest building. That hasn't been used. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of buildings on Broadway that aren't used. The ones that are used by lawyers. There's no commerce down in downtown. You remember the Lindsay Theater?
Yes.
Downtown? Is there a theater down there?
Yes.
There's no reason to go down there.
Well, I think in the Lindsay now the Cactus. No?
No. Lindsay is...
what is that now?
Court Place.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Court Place office building.
Yeah.
We were just talking off mic about dog parks. That's a great place for single people to meet other single people.
Absolutely.
At dog parks. People that don't want to go to bars and meet people, they go to dog parks and meet other people.
Eric,
we don't have bike lanes either.
Right.
Well, and this is something I'm glad you brought that up, and you bring up good points on the sign. First of all, I totally agree, and we're actually in discussion about how to do signage, and even from the airport. A deal, Eric, to me is when we get people that come into our airport, not just driving in, but to your point, because since you do drive all over West Texas, you understand it better than others. But when we leave the airport too, what do they see when they come into our city? Especially business travelers. Now, so the signage deal, I'm glad you bring that up, and thank you. I'm writing this down as you voiced these. The dog park issue we are working on, and it's just I just had to be honest there was some confusion that it was in the budget this year, this upcoming budget. It's not. It's a future capital project, but hopefully we're going to be able to. I'm just one of 7, but hopefully we're going to be able to get this dog park going sooner than later, because it's way past due, in my opinion, to your point, since you've lived here since the 80s.
No, 75.
75, goodness, okay. But I must agree with Tom on downtown. And the Crest Building's a good example.
I've been in that building, man. It's sweet.
Yeah, and there's been, I just want you to know that there's there's actually a lot, and I can't promise anything's going to happen, but there's a lot of interest in that block and in that that Broadway corridor. What we've got planned in downtown and what's going on is extremely strong. With Buddy Holly Hall, they've got over $80 million already to build that hall. We're doing renovation to Civic Center for future uses. There's 3 hotels going on North Q. That Radisson's going to become a DoubleTree, it looks like. They're starting to work on that. We've got a lot going on. Obviously, what we're doing with Citizens Complex and redoing the current City Hall as our future police department, we're going to be putting a lot of infrastructure in. If you notice on Main Street, a lot of activity. We're burying all the power lines, Eric. And I know we're way past doing this, but we are spending the money to bury the power lines so that we can have bigger developments.
Well, here's the thing, if I can interrupt real quick, sir.
Yes, sir.
We have the medical profession that's big in our community. Obviously, so is the universities. We've got, 4 universities now?
Yes.
There's a lot of interest in people coming to Lubbock, but what keeps them? What's the reason to stay here except for, yes, people say that it's good for your family because, it's not as crime infested as some place, but there's no, my children don't go to school here because there's nothing to keep them. That's what I'm trying to say. When I was growing up, you grew up to get out. What keeps us here as Lubbockites? What keeps us here?
Well, our city is growing. There's no doubt about it. We're growing.
They're growing because they need jobs, but what actually keeps us here for, like, the artistic part of it, or, like, the nightlife? What is it that keeps, like, the 30s and the 40s? For instance, someone like me that does like the arts, we have the Cactus Theater, right? We have Tech to do the
Louise Underwood Center and the Arts District and Friday Night Art Trail.
Moonlight musicals.
Friday Night Art Trail. My daughter brought that up the other day, but, it's not on TV. There's very little ads for it.
There's not. That should be, because that's the highly. There's 4,000 to 6,000 people in the fall attend that. I highly recommend our citizens try Friday Night Art Trail.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Incredible.
It's really
Eric, I don't mean to cut you off, man, but we're running out of time.
Thank you for your
call,
comments.
making the points. And
points.
just FYI, man, he did write down Eric, signed dog park in downtown, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
Appreciate it. Wrapping up the conversation with Jeff Griffith, Eric Caller just a minute ago was talking about, his concerns of no downtown. And this is kind of an interesting observation, and I get this. I really get this. But, you have, like, somebody buy a building on this corner and that corner and start doing major renovations to it. And then I think it's hampered by the free market, because then suddenly real estate values triple, quadruple. And it's just like, oh, well, yeah, but this is going to be, this is what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you have to let free market work. We want it to be natural, organic growth downtown, not subsidized. At the same time, if it gets too pricey, then it handcuffs us a different direction.
Yeah, it certainly does.
But I assure you that this council is very focused on the true redevelopment of downtown with our projects, and I think there's great things in the future. I really do.
Jeff Griffith, Lubbock City Council, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Great weekend.